Good evening. You're watching Thursday's edition of Newsplus right here on ZTN Prime. My name is Wadzanai Sansole, and these are your top stories. President Mnangagwa today met with members of the Zimbabwe, Mbuyane-Handa and Epworth South Chimurenga choirs at State House in Harare, where he praised them for their support for government and ruling party initiatives. Zambian President Hakainde Hichilema is expected in Zimbabwe on Friday for his inaugural state visit, which will also see him co-chairing the inaugural session of the Zambia-Zimbabwe Binational Commission with his counterpart, President Mnangagwa. Also on Newsplus, the Ministry of Health and Childcare is pushing for a bigger chunk of the 2026 national budget. And in sport, Warriors 3-0 down to Algeria in friendly. Thank you very much for joining us. We start off with President Mnangagwa, who today applauded the Chimurenga choirs for their instrumental role in informing the nation about various programs being spearheaded by the government. Now, addressing the Zimbabwe, Mbuyane-Handa and Epworth South Chimurenga choirs at State House in Harare, President Mnangagwa praised them for their support for government and ruling party initiatives. The president also presented the choirs with hampers for the coming season.
Since time immemorial, music has played a profound role in society. The blend of shakers, drums, guitars, and melodious voices has for years soothed souls, educated masses, and entertained throngs. In politics, music has been used as a vital medium to propagate ideology. In Zimbabwe, these melodies by Chimurenga choirs have been a soundtrack to government's messaging. Today, the role played by these choirs received due recognition from the country's highest office. President Mnangagwa commended the choir's leadership for keeping the revolutionary flame and political awareness alive. He underscored how their performances were a powerful symbol of hope and a continuous inspiration to the nation.
We appreciate the role you all continue to play towards keeping the revolutionary flame and political awareness alive among our party members and the nation as a whole.
The members of the choir paid a courtesy call on President Mnangagwa at State House. Present at the meeting with the Minister of Information, Dr. Jennifer Muswere, Minister of State for Harare Province, Senator Charles Tawenga, Politburo members, and members of the Women's League. President Mnangagwa reiterated the critical role their music played in educating and informing the nation.
They have also become instrumental in informing the nation about key national development projects and the progress we are making under the Second Republic. Your music shows the power of the creative cultural industry to unite, to entertain.
President Mnangagwa also presented the choirs with hampers for the festive season. The Chimurenga choir's leadership thanked the president for his generosity and support.
Tinovimbisa kuti ticharamba tichiimbira musangano wedu. Tichiimba nziyo dzekukurudzira. Tichiimba nziyo dzekukurudzira musangano wedu kuti uende mberi. Isu sevana veZANU-PF, semadzimai eZANU-PF, nemasanzi eZANU-PF.
Last year, President Mnangagwa met with the choirs shortly after Christmas Day. He also gave them gifts in recognition of their contribution to Zimbabwe's cultural heritage. Reporting for ZTN Prime, I am Mirira Nsingo.
Now, in other news, outgoing Japanese ambassador to Zimbabwe, Shinichi Yamanaka, today paid a farewell courtesy call on President Mnangagwa at State House as he concludes his 2-year diplomatic tour of duty. Speaking to journalists after the courtesy visit, the outgoing ambassador reaffirmed Japan's continued support to Zimbabwe in critical sectors such as education and health.
The outgoing ambassador of Japan to Zimbabwe, His Excellency Shinichi Yamanaka, has expressed his gratitude to President Mnangagwa for his kind cooperation and for visiting Japan twice this year. He says this has further contributed to strong bilateral and business relations between the two countries. Tokyo and Harare have strong, growing relations characterized by deep cooperation in development, aid and cultural exchange. President Mnangagwa in August led high-level discussions at the 9th Tokyo International Conference on African Development Summit, focusing on two of Africa's most pressing challenges, the climate crisis and the debt burden. Ambassador Yamanaka said the Asian country remains committed to partner Zimbabwe for mutual beneficiation.
These high-level exchanges have greatly contributed to the development of bilateral relations. Business relations are also expanding. Last year, sesame exports to Japan started, and export of petalite mineral, which used in Japanese earthenware pot.
The recent high-level engagements between Zimbabwe and Japan underscores a commitment to strengthen ties. The outgoing ambassador added that Japan will continue to assist Zimbabwe in its various sectors, including agriculture, health, education, and infrastructure.
In the development cooperation, we are supporting in the area of infrastructure, such as North-South Corridor road rehabilitation, food assistance, landmine clearance, education, health, and gender, as well as the scholarship for Zimbabwean students and human resource development.
Despite the ambassador's short stay in the country, he is confident Zimbabwe's information and technology industry is a lot of potential that should be harnessed.
In addition to agriculture, mining, and tourism, Japanese companies are interested in employing young, talented Zimbabweans in IT industries.
Japan and Zimbabwe have strong, growing relations that span over 45 years. And beyond trade and infrastructure, cultural cooperation remains a key aspect of the partnership as Japan continues to support community-based tourism projects around the country. Reporting for ZTN Prime, I am Mirira Nsingo.
The Ministry of Health and Childcare is hoping for a bigger allocation in the 2026 national budget. The health sector continues to face mounting pressure ranging from workforce migration, old infrastructure and reduced donor support. Now, Health and Childcare Minister Dr. Douglas Mombeshora is hopeful that a bigger budget vote will help ease some of these pressures. He said this during his presentation at the Zimbabwe National Defense University today. Our reporter Tafaras Bochiwe has more.
The Ministry of Health says it is looking inward for solutions as international support shrinks. Following the withdrawal and limitations of USAID, which has long supported HIV prevention and logistics, Treasury funding is now more critical than ever.
Obviously, my expectations is to see an increment in the allocation. Firstly, because there have been some funds that have been cut from our partners, so we expect Treasury to cover up for those funds that have been cut. So I'm not expecting anything less.
Zimbabwe's health budget remains below 13% of total government expenditure, far from the Abuja Declaration target of 15%. Yet, the demand for services continues to grow. Brain drain is also another issue the country needs to address. And according to the World Health Organization, Zimbabwe must double its health workforce. The ministry has increased the intake of nurses from 420 to 600 per cohort, while new schools are being opened to double the health workforce in line with the WHO recommendations. The University of Zimbabwe produces 450 doctors a year, with more universities adding to that output.
The health worker density, that includes everyone now in the health sector. Our health worker density is at 48.68 per 10,000. But WHO, which is the World Health Organization, recommend 134.2 per 10,000 population. So we need to work hard, train more, recruit more to get to that ratio.
Medicine availability remains a challenge, standing at just 53% against the national benchmark of 80%. Vital drugs are at 59%, though ARVs, TB and malaria medicines are adequately stocked. Natfarm, the state pharmaceutical company, remains undercapitalized, yet it plays a crucial role in procurement and distribution.
We also want to see Natfarm going into manufacturing. We have linked it with several manufacturers from outside so that there's a technology transfer, and what is now required is really to capitalize it so that they can go into also manufacturing.
Several health facilities remain outdated and overcrowded, with the completion of 4 new mini hospitals in rural areas and another 4 under construction across the country. Solar-powered boreholes have been installed at over 400 facilities, improving access to clean water and energy reliability. The ministry is also investing in digital X-rays, oxygen plants, and telemedicine in 43 facilities, all aimed at improving service delivery.
The Ministry of Health remains optimistic that the upcoming 2026 national budget will reflect an increased allocation to the health sector. This will be crucial in strengthening health service delivery, improving access to quality care, advancing construction and completion of new hospitals across the country. This investment will not only enhance the capacity of our healthcare system, but ensures every citizen benefits from quality, equitable and sustainable service. Tafaras Bochiwe for ZTN Prime.
Still on our top stories, Zambian President Hakainde Hichilema is expected in Zimbabwe on Friday for his inaugural state visit, which will also see him co-chairing the inaugural session of the Zambia-Zimbabwe Binational Commission with his counterpart, President Mnangagwa. Now, the Zimbabwe-Zambia Binational Commission marks 45 years of diplomatic relations between the two neighbors. At the heart of the talks is a shared political will to remove trade barriers and also advance towards zero tariffs as both nations deepen economic cooperation.
In Harare, ministers from Zimbabwe and Zambia have met ahead of the Binational Commission to fine-tune key agreements spanning trade, migration, energy, and environmental cooperation. The focus is to transform long-standing diplomatic ties into measurable economic outcomes through borderless trade and industrial growth. Zimbabwe and Zambia are pushing for zero tariffs in cross-border trade, a move expected to boost industrial growth and strengthen economic cooperation between the two neighbors.
We are poised to be the shining beacon of mutually beneficial possibilities that can result from a seamless zero-tariff border between our two markets. Zero tariff. In actual fact, in the morning, when we were discussing with my brother Chipoka Mlenge, we say our movement is called Tariffs Must Fall.
Officials believe this indicates political will to deepen economic ties.
We are here today, finally, for our inaugural binational commission. After 45 years of diplomatic relations between Zimbabwe and Zambia, I think we must congratulate ourselves that we finally have a binational commission. So it means this year is a year of big decisions.
Several key instruments are ready to be tabled before the two presidents tomorrow, which will accelerate trade and, most importantly, improve the well-being of the two countries' citizens.
On the Zambia-Zimbabwe-Mozambique Power Interconnector project, which remains critical to enhancing energy security, stabilizing power supply, and supporting industrial production in both our countries. We have also reached consensus on the need to expedite the signing of outstanding memoranda of understanding, particularly in the sectors of immigration,
The Bi-National Commission camps as Zimbabwe and Zambia celebrate 45 years of diplomatic ties, a milestone both countries hope to anchor in trade, energy and industrialization, signaling a new phase in their partnerships. Reporting for ZTM Prime, I am Melissa Chetkobo.
We are now joined live by the Sunday Mail Deputy Editor, Lavmo Chikova, to discuss the impending visit by President Hichilema. Good evening, Lavmo. Thank you for joining us. Can you talk to us about the significance of President Hichilema's visit?
Okay, thank you very much. What is important about this meeting is that the cooperation between the two countries, Zimbabwe and Zambia, has been upgraded from a joint permanent commission to a bi-national commission. That is very important in taking forward the relations between Zimbabwe and Zambia. A bi-national commission is an important diplomatic and strategic step that signals a deeper and more structured and more comprehensive relationship between two countries. So you find out that while the Joint Permanent Commission is usually led by ministers or senior officials, a bi-national commission is now elevated to the level of the heads of state or heads of government. So by elevating this a commission, it ensures that cooperation is not only technical, but it now becomes political and very strategic in its operations and also in its stature. That is why we are seeing that the president of Zambia, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, is actually coming to tomorrow to co-chair the bi-national commission with President Mnangagwa. So this shows that this commission has been elevated to that highest level. It shows the intentions of the two heads of states in doing that.
Thank you very much, Lavmo. Appreciate your time and your insight. Now, shortly after the break, Newsplus will give you a story on government setting targets to build 1 million houses.
Vanoda valisi ziitai aye varimi vese itai aye vanoda go itai aye simuza go rako kurumiza ndogona kungoti oyo vavalisi zipada moyo vanyai vana maina na baba kurumiza mbeu kwayo ri kuvalisisi airowe nezvifukuto kana tsikitsi kana zvirwere ende nokupa harvest apa ndiri kurevesa very honest nevalisi itai aye varimi vese itai aye vanoda go.
Mwaka uno tenga mbeu yako ku Valley Seeds usimudze goho rako. Valley Seeds vauchiki vembeu yechibage, yepana nePioneer, goros, ma-traditional grains nema-vegetable seeds ose anopa goho repamsorosoro. Valley Seeds, where farming meets the farmer.
Welcome back, gospel music lovers, to another season of My Ultimate Gospel 10. Your ultimate destination for soul-stirring melodies and inspirational stories.
Prepare me for a good day.
God is faithful because He's holy.
Like, wow, this is beautiful.
Each week, they'll be revealing their top 10 gospel songs. Meet Miss Becky K, the dynamic and passionate new presenter for Season 3.
If you are ready, let's get into My Ultimate Gospel 10.
Premiering soon, only on ZTN Prime. Stay tuned and let the music uplift your soul.
This is Newsplus coming to you live from Harare. Now, moving on with our bulletin, Minister of National Housing and Social Amenities, Jemu Soda, has revealed that the government has not only surpassed its initial goal of constructing 220,000 housing units, but has now set an ambitious new target of 1 million units. This is a goal the minister stated is on course to be met ahead of schedule. Now, Minister Soda also commended the pivotal role played by the private sector in addressing the nation's housing deficit, acknowledging that a significant number of the new housing stock has been delivered through the sector's direct investment. He was speaking on the sidelines of the World Habitat Day commemorations.
During the NDS-1, our initial target was 220,000 housing units, which we surpassed by the time of midterm review of NDS-1, which was done in 2023. And the government, in its wisdom, had to review the target to 1 million housing units. And I've also indicated that 80% of that target has since been achieved. Let me indicate that our achievement has not been by government's efforts alone. We work with a variety of stakeholders, the private sector, just like we witnessed here, that the GG Properties is also making a contribution as an example of private developers that are participating in housing delivery. We also work with banks, we work with insurance companies, we work with pension houses, we work with individuals, people in the diaspora are also making.
The United Nations has pledged to continue supporting Zimbabwe's Vision 2030 through accelerating the implementation of Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. And speaking during the biannual high-level SDGs steering committee meeting in the capital on Wednesday, the United Nations President Coordinator Edward Cullen commended the country for progress made over the years despite emerging challenges such as climate change, economic shocks and pandemics. We get more in the following report.
The United Nations Resident Coordinator emphasized the need to adapt in the face of climate change and the use of smart agriculture as a critical tool for food security. Zimbabwe has not been spared by the devastating effects of climate change, and the government, with support from its partners, has been educating farmers on the benefits of smart agriculture to mitigate climate change.
We need to really ride along that trajectory for us to be able to achieve this. And I also said we need to really increase effort on domestic resource mobilization and innovative financing mechanism. The government has been doing a lot in this area. We must give kudos to government. They have been deepening the level of domestic resource mobilization.
The United Nations Resident Coordinator Cullen noted there were 6 key areas which were important for driving SDG progress. These include energy access and security, digital connectivity, food and land systems, urban infrastructure and mobility, industrialization and human capital development. He reiterated the need for Zimbabwe to invest in digital connectivity, among other strategies.
We must urgently continue investing in affordable broadband, digital ID, e-government, and digital skills. Digital payments, from our experience, and platforms will reduce leakages, improve social protection delivery, and also expand farmers' sector opportunities.
The United Nations further commended the government for strides in renewable energy and digital transformation, citing the establishment of the Zimbabwe National Renewable Energy Fund and the Grid Electrification Fund as strong examples of innovation. The government admitted the progress made in advancing SDGs has not been without challenges, adding that Zimbabwe will continue accelerating the target as part of its national development strategy.
Through joint programming, technical support, and policy dialogue, the UN family has contributed to key national priorities. With respect to people, expanding access to quality health care, education, social protection, and gender equality. With respect to planet,
through financial and technical support from development partners, the country has seen tremendous improvement in healthcare, education, social protection, and gender equality.
And now in our look at crime, opposition figure Job Sikala, aged 53, and his uncle Alexander Tema, aged 78, who were arrested last week for illegal possession of explosives in South Africa, have been granted 10,000 rand bail each, pending trial at the Pretoria Magistrate Court. The duo was arrested between Pretoria and Johannesburg on Friday last week, and while traveling in a Ford Fiesta, they have been formally charged for possession of explosives and are expected back in court on 3 February 2026. Still on our look at crime, Robert Mugabe Jr. has been fined $300 after being convicted of illegal possession of drugs. Mugabe pleaded guilty to the offense earlier today when he appeared before Harare magistrate Lisa Mutendereki. In addition to the fine, Mugabe was sentenced to 3 months imprisonment. However, the jail term was wholly suspended on condition that he doesn't commit a similar offense in the next 5 years. Now, moving on, experts and policymakers are calling for stronger collaboration across disciplines in research, saying Africa's sustainable development depends on scientists and also depends on social scientists and communities working together to produce practical solutions. The call came as the Global Research Council Sub-Saharan Africa Regional Meeting and Science Granting Council's Initiative Symposium continues in Bulawayo.
As the world faces increasingly complex challenges from climate change to health crisis and food insecurity, speakers at the symposium said no single discipline can provide all the answers. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Rural Development, Professor Obert Jiri, said the continent must prioritize interdisciplinary research that translates knowledge into real community impact.
So the silo mentality is wrong. We need people to be and researchers to be working together. Where possible, we must do it together, plan together, and institute research together.
Research Council of Zimbabwe Board Chairperson, Engineer Dr. Edgar Kamusoko, said collaboration across sectors would bridge the gap between laboratories, policy, and everyday community life.
There's need for us within Zimbabwe to develop our own platforms for debate, academic debate on issues that are of interest to us, so that people can research into those matters and then be able to publish and contribute their views and ideas in relation to our requirements and solutions to our problems in our country. And in this regard, I think there's been quite a number of publications that are also coming up from our universities, and we as the Research Council, we are also arranging to come up with our own journals, which we hope will be quite easily accessible to many multidisciplinary academic research and debates.
Similar sentiments were echoed recently by Speaker of Parliament, Advocate Jacob Mudenda, during Parliament's strategic planning meeting, also held in Bulawayo. He said Zimbabwe's national development agenda demands that researchers, academics, and policymakers work collaboratively across disciplines to generate solutions that inform governance, legislation, and community well-being.
The collaboration is very weak, Honorable Minister of Finance. It's very weak. But the brains are there. The brains are there.
Science Officer Pindile Masemula from South Africa's National Research Foundation said interdisciplinary approaches are vital for ensuring African research remains both globally relevant and locally grounded.
The opportunities for collaboration and cooperation can enhance the quality of science, provide economies of scale, avoid unnecessary duplication, address issues that can only be solved by working together. Research funding agencies have a responsibility to meet these objectives on behalf of research communities.
Delegates agreed that integrating indigenous knowledge systems with modern science can help generate homegrown, practical solutions to Africa's most pressing issues. From scientists to lawmakers, the message is clear. Interdisciplinary collaboration is key to producing research that not only advances knowledge but transforms lives.
Delegates at the 2025 Global Research Council Sub-Saharan Africa Regional Meeting have called for research that impacts local communities, saying that research must lead science and development. For ZTN Prime, I'm Andile Chuma in Bulawayo.
You are watching Newsplus.
The Phoenix Podcast has always brought you the best of the best.
I missed on that blessing.
but I also regained it in some way.
In seasons 1 and 2, we introduced you to the industry's brightest stars, the ones at the top of their game, the creme de la creme. But season 3 promises to be even more exciting. We're bringing you even more fascinating guests, including the renowned farmer, Patrick Matadi.
Ndikure mu basa kushinga nekuziya chinango chekondida kuenda.
And to top it all off, our very own host, Ken Sharp, will be stepping out of the interviewer's chair and into the hot seat as he gets interviewed by a surprise guest host.
From the boss, we've been beaten, but we're not beaten yet. We can still rise.
Konapo Konapo, Ipapo Ipapo, Bazetian Prime, DSTV Channel 294, the place to be.
Value addition and beneficiation, coupled with the Treasury's commitment to funding infrastructure investment and development, are yielding positive results for Matabeleland North, and it recorded a GDP growth rate of 9.7% against the national average of 1.7% in 2024. Acting Permanent Secretary for the Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Godfrey Mukwakami, said the province's growth was driven by increased investment in mining, in manufacturing, tourism and energy production. He made these remarks while receiving a delegation from the African Peer Review Mechanism, APRM, currently touring the province as part of its targeted review process on economic governance and management.
The growth of the province, it was the highest last year. We had a GDP growth rate of 9.7 against a national average of 1.7, but yet the growth of 9.7 according to Zimstat statistics of 2024. This was mainly as a result of increase in investments in mining around Wange area. And then the other sector is manufacturing. Manufacturing is picking up just as a reflection of the national economy as a whole. It went down over the years, but it's now picking up because of the emphasis, especially from His Excellency, where he is emphasizing the need to value add our products before we export. And as a response, there's been a lot of investment in Wange as well.
APRM eminent person and panel lead member for Zimbabwe, Ambassador Ali El Hefni, commended government for taking a leading role in infrastructural development countrywide.
Stakeholders commended the government for its commendable efforts in infrastructure development, macroeconomic stabilization, and efforts to enhance fiscal discipline, which are important foundations for achieving Zimbabwe's aspiration of becoming an upper middle income economy by 2030. These initiatives reflect a strong commitment to restoring economic confidence.
It's time now to give you your global updates, and we start with South Africa, where the Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana has dismissed claims by US President Donald Trump that the government is committing genocide against white South Africans, describing them as false and dangerous. Trump made these remarks ahead of the upcoming G20 summit, claiming that Afrikaners are being killed and slaughtered in South Africa and declaring it a total disgrace. And that the summit will be held in African country would be a disgrace, adding that South Africa has no place in the G group of nations as a result.
At a time when South Africa, like many nations around the world, is grappling with intensifying global competition and mounting economic and political divisions. It is against this fractured landscape that South Africa has been falsely accused of genocide against its white community and threatened with punitive sanctions based on falsehood. Let me thank the many communities here at home and around the world that have rejected the false narrative and the fear, hate, and disinformation they represent, and instead chosen to defend the principles of solidarity and equality. The members of the African community who recently came out publicly refusing to be used as a pawn or portrayed as victims provide us with a timely reminder of our responsibility to forge collective prosperity grounded in truth, justice, and mutual respect.
The world's leading farm machinery fair, Agritechnica, opened in Hanover, Germany on Sunday, launching a week-long exhibition dedication to innovation, efficiency and sustainability in modern farming. And it was held under the theme Touch Smart Efficiency. This year's event is focusing on innovations in agricultural machinery, digital technologies and connected farming systems. A newly launched digital farm center, the first of its kind at the exhibition, has become a major highlight, presenting how digitalization, automation and artificial intelligence are transforming agricultural production worldwide. Now, Zimbabwe's Deputy Minister of Agriculture, Vangelis Haritatos, is also in attendance.
Weit fortgeschritten, weil das ja auch unser Digital Farm Center ist. Da sieht man auch, sehr viele chinesische Hersteller sind hier gerade im Bereich der Autonomie unterwegs, auch im Bereich der Drohnentechnologie unterwegs. Also auch das, was wir ja in Zukunft haben wollen, auch die Intelligenz. Und da geht schon von China ein sehr großer Impuls aus. Also das sieht man auch sehr.
The Peruvian National Police has seized more than 6 tons of shark fins in Callao that were destined for illegal export to the Asian market. The fins have an estimated value of around $8 million. Now, shark fins are typically exported to Asia to prepare soups, tonics and so-called aphrodisiac dishes. And trade in shark fins is considered a high-impact environmental crime, as several shark species are classified as threatened with extinction.
La Policía Nacional del Perú, a través de su Dirección de Medio Ambiente y conjuntamente con la Fiscalía contra el Crimen Organizado, ha ejecutado una importante intervención contra un delito que atenta contra nuestros recursos hidrobiológicos. Estamos incautando más de 6 toneladas de aletas de tiburón, ¿no? Una especie amenazada y que muchas de sus diversas especies de este tiburón, valga la redundancia, están en amenaza de extinción.
Israel has begun constructing a new border wall inside Lebanese territory, sparking fears among locals that more of their land could be seized. The wall is being erected near a town in southern Lebanon, where local media reported growing concern that Israel may be seeking to expand its territorial control. Lebanese President Joseph Aoun said that his country has not received any response from Israel via U.S. mediation regarding negotiations for the return of the occupied areas. And Israel has carried out several raids on Lebanese territory since the ceasefire agreement with Hezbollah took effect on November 27, 2024. The Israeli army has also retained control of 5 hills in southern Lebanon that it occupied at the start of the war. Meanwhile, thousands of Pakistani citizens and truck drivers remain stranded at key Afghan border crossings, which have been closed for weeks amid heightened tensions between the neighboring countries. Crowds of men, women and children are gathered near the sealed gates, with hundreds of stationary trucks and buses stretching for kilometers with goods worth millions of rupees. The two sides had signed a truce in Doha on October 19th following cross-border clashes, but the border closures and mutual accusations have since renewed tensions, disrupting vital trade routes and leaving thousands stranded.
بلادي د کوټي اوسیدونکو هم د ترانسپورت سره مې تعلق دی یوه میاشت کېږي چې دلته د چمن پر بارډر ولاړ یو حالات ډېر خراب دي د جنګ سایه را باندې ګرځي خلک لیوني دي چې په کومه خوا روان سو او دغه مهرباني دي دا دواړه حکومتونه وکړي چې دا لاره خلاصه کړي د خلکو سبزي ټماټر میوې ټوله ورستې سوې دي د خدای پار دی دا دواړو ملکو ته مې دغه خواست دی دلته د جنګ فضا ده ګرد خلک په وایم کې دي د خدای روی دی او د لمنې ته دې وګوري دا لار دې خلاصه کړي ګرده لار دې خلاصه کړي که د چمن وي که د تورخم وي که د غلام خان وي دا ګرد بندرونه دې خلاص کړي ډېره مهرباني به یو ډېرې دعاوې به درته کوي.
Now, coming up in business, pig industry gets boost with superior breeds. The Pig Industry Board has imported about 194 pig breeds from South Africa, a move that is set to boost productivity and lead to the attainment of the 22,500 tons target of pork. And today, the institution hosted a pig handover ceremony in Harare, where they distributed 9 pigs to Masvingo, 62 pigs to Mashonaland East, and 123 pigs to farmers in Mashonaland West.
The move is part of a number of strategies to scale up the piggery sector, which entail improving genetics, ensuring stock feed availability, providing training and financial support to farmers. For Letwina Nyangano, a farmer from Norton, this is a significant step towards attaining the national target. Nyangano has over 100 sows and sells about 120 tons of pork yearly. She expressed the excitement over the new breeds and is hopeful that they will help in boosting her business.
One of the beneficiaries who are collecting our pigs today, we are the first group to import pigs from Dunbridge through PIB.
The facilitation of the importation of the high-quality breeds was enabled by various stakeholders, which include farmers, the veterinary services, and the Pig Industry Board. The board chairperson of the institution, Crave Devport, said that they have noted a significant growth in the sector in the past months. He said that the institution is committed to training and producing quality products.
I'd like to say that in the last 12 months, the PIB has seen some great strides in terms of improved direction, improved performance, and I think we've actually seen, along with that, we've seen an improvement in the demand for pork products. We're excited about this. Of course, to fill that gap, we need to improve our production, our productivity, and our efficiencies.
The Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Professor Obedjiri, held the Pig Industry Board, saying that genetic improvement is key in boosting the national pig herd.
In terms of climate change, but we must weather that and introduce new, better genetics for our livestock. In terms of feed, of course, we must innovate, come up with cheaper feed for our pigs. And this is where we want board chair, your youngsters, your call to the young people to bring solutions.
Pig production contributes significantly to the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals, which entail poverty eradication, food security, and economic growth. The improvement of genetics will go a long way in scaling up the sector. For ZTM Prime, I am Mashudu Mambo in Harare.
The government is refocusing on its industrialization agenda, promoting value chains that link agriculture with manufacturing to drive export growth. Parliament's Portfolio Committee on Industry and Commerce is reviewing key sectors to ensure policy supports the revival of local manufacturing. And one company showing progress under this push is David Whitehead Textiles, now back in full production and exporting to regional markets. Melissa Chatikobo gives us more details.
When dialogue between private players and policymakers bears fruit, it creates jobs, increases capacity utilization for industry, and most importantly, it builds the economy, benefiting everyone.
In Kadoma, the sound of spinning machines tell a story of recovery. After years of silence, David Whitehead Textiles is back, producing fabric at a large scale and also exporting in the region.
We've just started to export, which is exciting for us as David Whitehead. We're exporting part of our yarn to Botswana, so it's representing an opportunity. I'm sure it can grow into something, but we've just started.
David Whitehead is now fully integrated, from buying raw cotton to producing finished fabric, with massive capital injected for its Kadoma plant to Chekutu factory.
We are looking at an investment of around $35 million that was put in place if we combine the Chekutu and the Kadoma operations. And what we are saying here is we need to promote the cotton value chain.
The Parliamentary Committee on Industry and Commerce visited the plant in Kadoma and Chekutu to assess progress. Lawmakers say David Whitehead's revival supports Zimbabwe's industrialization agenda and the promotion of value chains.
We have got moving the economy up the value chain, and in NDS2 there's a structural transformation. All this is looking at value addition. So going forward, there is a need for us to look inward, look at the whole ecosystem. To what extent can this company source
raw materials locally.
The committee says its oversight extends beyond textiles, focusing on all critical sectors that can drive localization, beneficiation, and empowerment within Zimbabwe's agro-based economy.
Zimbabwe is one of the countries that produce the best cotton because it's hand-picked. Now authorities say let's strengthen the value chain to ensure that everyone benefits, from the white gold to the clothing we are wearing right now. Reporting for ZTM Prime, I am Melissa Chatkobo in Chegutu.
Coming up is entertainment.
Welcome wherever you are. And Marmouche, room to shoot. He well and truly did. It's an opportunity. What a shot to Sino! Tarkowski! Scott's got to be careful. Bukayo Saka! But it's Salah, and that one delivers!
Never miss a play, home or away. Stream all Premier League games live on Showmax.
In a world where music transcends boundaries, where rhythm and melody unite the hearts of people, comes a show that celebrates the power of music like never before. Get ready to dive into a sonic journey that will leave you mesmerized. And yearning for more. Welcome to the captivating world of Z Vibes. Vibe to it, baby.
Welcome back. Now we give you entertainment news here on Newsplus. The Zimbabwe Prisons and Correctional Services celebrated the commissioning of a music recording studio at Chikurubi Maximum Security Prison on Wednesday, marking a significant step towards the rehabilitation of inmates. The studio is notable as the first of its kind in Southern Africa and the fifth on the continent. This project has already enabled 4 inmates to record their songs, offering hope to aspiring artists serving their sentences. The new recording studio not only represents a creative outlet for inmates, but also signifies hope and reintegration into society. Musicians Suluchi Mbetu and Lena Jakata attended this launch. Here's a snippet of the first recording session in the new studio.
Tinotenda nekushanda pamwe chete, tinotenda nekubatsira vakasungwa nemakomuniti edu, tinotenda nekukurudzira kusanduka kwevakasungwa, tinotenda nekushanda pamwe chete, evidence based rehabilitation, tinotenda pamwe chete nevezimura, aiwa tinotenda.
Now, Bulawayo is set to host the Festival of Song on November 22nd, with more than 20 choral groups expected to perform at the large city hall. Now, this event marks its return after a 3-year break, and it will feature live performances, adjudication, and awards. The Festival of Song was established, and to provide a platform for choirs from churches, communities, and universities to share and develop their craft. Organizers say the festival aims to showcase Zimbabwe's rich choral traditions and promote artistic exchange among performers. The theme for the 2025 edition is Nurturing Intercultural Peace, focusing on music as a means of fostering unity among diverse communities. Now, still on entertainment, upcoming gospel artists are seeking collaborations with their established counterparts to unleash new voices on the market so that the industry grows through unity and appreciation. The rising stars believe that mentorship and joint projects between seasoned and emerging artists can strengthen Zimbabwe's gospel footprint, both locally and abroad. And at the same time, many gospel artists in the diaspora have been calling on local radio stations to play their music more often, arguing that it helps them stay connected to people at home and maintain a shared cultural identity. Up next is sport.
This is a people's game. They will be bubbling about this one for weeks and months to come. Let's go! Lights, camera, action. Put your mind on it, live the life that you imagine.
Wherever you are, whatever your reason, it's on SuperSport all season long. Reconnect and stay connected to DSTV Compact and get the best football on us.
Mbare-housed Jadel Football Academy has opened a sports shop aimed at generating additional income to support its operations and ensure long-term sustainability. Jadel Football Academy founder Walter Msanu says the initiative is part of the academy's broader plan to become self-reliant and reduce dependency on external funding, as well as create employment for the youths.
We, like I always mention, that we are trying to strive to be better for the football development. So this is one of the things which we feel will make football get better and better in our country. We do have a football academy. We are into sports tourism as well. And now we've moved into the sports apparels. I feel that we are now like a wholesome, because we are also creating employment for the youth at the same time as we're making impact in terms of supplying quality stuff for all sports sports disciplines. So I think very soon we will now be touching and transforming a lot of upcoming youths.
Musanu expressed gratitude for the football community's continued support and highlighted transparency as one of the academy's core values and principles.
I can boldly say that we are more transparent, and I would love to believe that we are the future of football. Of course, with the support, we are also getting much support from ZIFA and SRC, Ministry of Sports, Ministry of Sports Tourism. So I would love to believe that we are more transparent and more open, and we have a vision, and we are just following suit. And we've been consistent for years now. So yeah, I think I'm excited about this project, where it's going, where it's taking shape now.
Herentals Queens will be officially crowned Zimbabwe Women Premier Soccer League champions for the 4th year in a row this weekend. The team has been an unstoppable force since dethroning Black Rhinos Queens, and have declared their intention to create a lasting legacy. We get more in the following report.
Herentals Queens have been the gold standard in women's football in Zimbabwe over the past 4 seasons. The team has just stormed to their 4th straight league title in the Zimbabwe Women's Premier Soccer League to underline their status as the dominant force in the game. The numbers behind their success are staggering, with only 3 defeats in 120 games over 4 seasons. Only Harare City Queens and Black Rhinos Queens have managed to beat them on the field, with their only loss this season coming via a walkover decision to Kwekwe United Queens after a match in Harare failed to take place. Herentals sealed the 2025 title with 2 games to spare, extending their incredible run and reinforcing their reputation as an untouchable side.
Yeah, it's not an easy thing to keep on defending the championship. In terms of the opponents that we play against big teams. Each and every team that we play, it's a final to us, and it's a big games for us. But as for us, it's now our philosophy to collect accolades. What drives us is the accolades. We are the people of the accolades. So every time we want the accolades. So that is the drive that drives us each and every time to keep on winning. Because we want accolades. We are the people. We are the people of the accolades.
Over the years, Herentals have built a cohesive and consistent unit, with their chemistry strengthened by familiarity and stability. This season, a targeted reinforcement drive paid off handsomely as the team once again turned consistency into championship gold.
At first, it was not an easy thing to combine the new players and old players. But what we are happy for is that the new players now have got our philosophy. Now they are used to our philosophy. Now they know the team. now they are part of the champions. So they are now motivated. They are now performing because they now understand the philosophy.
Oriental's Queens will be crowned champions this weekend at Gwanzura Stadium and will be hoping to shut out the season with a flourish against the team they dethroned, Black Rhinos Queens.
I'm cheering the Zimbabwean fans to come and watch the big game. Local derby, it's a local derby. Oriental's Queens FC versus Black Rhinos Queens. It's a big game. It's a big derby because Black Rhinos, the big players, they're a good side and they are strong. But as for us, we are promising that we want to end the season on a high. So I'm cheering the fans to come and enjoy, to come and witness the local derby.
After proving to be a cut above the race locally, Oriental's Queens are now turning their attention beyond Zimbabwe. With valuable experience gained in the last 2 editions of the CAF Women's Champions League COSAFA qualifiers, they are determined to extend their dominance to the regional stage.
Now, in other sports news, Zimbabwe under-21 women's hockey team is putting down final touches before heading into camp next week for the Junior Hockey World Cup set for December. The team will be heading to Chile for the showpiece, hoping to go the distance this time around. We get more in the following report.
The Zimbabwe under-21 women's hockey team is counting down the days before they head to South America for a full camp in the lead up to the Junior World Cup in Chile. The girls have been training in separate groups, with some based in Harare, Bulawayo and Marondera, while others are studying abroad. Head coach Brett Yor has been conducting remote sessions and says that he's eager to work with a full squad once they assemble in camp. Zimbabwe booked their spot at the World Cup after an impressive run at the Junior Africa Cup in Namibia back in April, and the team features a number of players who have already tasted action at a top level. The coach says preparations have been on track, but the real grind starts next week when they touch down in South America.
Yeah, when we get to Chile next week, that'll be when we go into quite an intensive camp, I guess, and that's when everyone will be working together. We're traveling with a much more experienced squad than we did 2 years ago, so that should be a massive boost to the team, knowing that we've got that experience. They understand what is required from them. They understand what sort of level they're going to be playing at when they step out onto that field.
This will be Zimbabwe's 6th appearance at the Junior World Cup and their 3rd consecutive one. Ewa says that the team will approach the tournament with a focus on patient, structured play against some of the world's hockey powerhouses.
The biggest thing was just how intense it is, how we play now against the teams who are ranked in the top 10 in the world, and coming from Zimbabwe, where we don't play as much hockey as they do, now we have to try lift our game against these much stronger, much well-drilled sides.
The composition of the team features players at different levels of fitness and conditioning. The technical team is prioritizing balance and cohesion during the final camp.
So I guess now it's mainly about getting the team gelling, making sure that they all know their roles, they all know each other, getting them working well together. And it's obviously a little bit too late to get fit or learn how to stop a hockey ball, but it's mainly just about learning the formation, the new formation, the structure.
Some of the players are based overseas in the United States, England and the Netherlands, among others, but the coach is confident that they can quickly gel into a united squad.
It's been really difficult having so many international players, so it makes it really difficult to train as a team. So we don't have that same luxury, I guess, as those other teams that train together for a long time. We pretty much got the same team. We've made a few changes. We'll just be looking to build on that.
The Junior Women's World Cup runs from the 1st to the 13th of December in Santiago, Chile, and Zimbabwe will be banking on their experience and early camp to deliver a strong showing on the world stage.
And that's a wrap on Newsplus this evening. My name is Wazanai Sansole. Good night.